Hello, and welcome to the Mocha Minutes podcast. I'm Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me. You can find the Mocha Minutes podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, TuneIn, Castbox, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Find us on any of those platforms or wherever else you catch your podcast. Also, still soliciting for ratings and reviews. If you would be so inclined, please leave us some 5 stars. Leave us some reviews. Would greatly appreciate it. Also, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Mocha Minutes on all 3 of those platforms. If you want to shoot me an email, give me some feedback. Other than on those 3 places, you can email me at mochaminutes@gmail.com. Hello and welcome back to the Mocha Minutes podcast. This is Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining me. It is still April. As Quinn has said, I am a whole fool. And so this whole month of April is for whole fools. Everybody who's here is a goddamn fool, including me. So if you are a fan of what else is going on, there's the part of the company that y'all don't get to see that often. I've had the chance to talk to him. Also, I got to preview his episode with a few of my friends, Samaj and Wade, and I said, oh, he just fits right on in. It's like watching people join the Avengers. Come on in here, Falcon. Come on in here, Bird Soldier. Come on in here. Come on, Bird Soldier. So I have of course, y'all know Taria is literally a constant here, but we're trying I'm trying to get, executive producer of WEIGO management to come also be like a staple. So I have Cory, aka the executive producer of What Else Is Going On podcast, also one half of Wake Up with WEIGO, also future podcast. So he gonna do something, y'all. Mark this day.
I said. That's what I said.
He gonna have his own podcast. I don't know what it's gonna be about.
You did that to Obi.
I did do that to Obi because I was
pressure on me.
I definitely bullied him. Like, let me tell you something. If you don't get a fucking podcast, I didn't have to bully Samaj. So it's like it works, but I'm like, I feel like, and my buddy AITA tells everybody, Stephanie just voluntold me to do something. I'm like, so I didn't tell you. No, you voluntold me to do it. I'm like, but it's a good idea, right? It's just like, that's not what I said. I said you told me what to do. But we have Cory. Cory, how are you? Thank you so much for coming on the Mocha Minutes podcast for whole full month.
I ain't gonna be rude, but I'm gonna need you to say my name. What's my name?
Oh, wait.
Oh! You got to say the proper name. You know what I'm getting at. Wait,
I gotta call you C Breezy. Is that what you said?
Yeah, there you go.
Come on. Oh, I'm sorry, C Breezy. Let me tell you something.
Say my name.
See, when they sign up for their OnlyFans, just know it's gonna be sign up for C Breezy's OnlyFans. You're like, the fuck is going on here?
Exactly. I don't even know who else is
y'all know by now.
Somebody is upstairs and put a battery in you, sir. All that chanting and cheering.
He's like, hold up. You put some respect on my name, okay?
I got my own mic this time. We ain't sharing mics. So I don't know how to act. So I apologize in advance.
I have a feeling somebody will be visiting Best Buy probably this week to buy a mic.
Yeah, because this Yeti is nice. I'm gonna have to go get me one.
And it was mine.
I got my Samson as a birthday present from my brother. Christmas present. totally surprised me. He was like, "You're gonna love your gift," and I was just like, "What is he talking about?" And it was heavy, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "Oh my god, this is a good ass mic." I'm like, I had to do my specs. I talked to my audio engineering friends, and they were like, "He bought you a what?" It's like, wow. Yeah, they're like, "Ooh, that's nice." I'm like,
a good friend.
It sure is. It's like, it's so funny. My brother always laughed because he always comes on here when, during the NFL season. So it's like the midway point of the NFL season. He always comes through and we always just laugh. We shade Dakota. I'm sorry, Kendrick. Fuck Dakota. Okay. Fuck that Dak Prescott, Mr. Oh my God, the black side of my family hate me. I'm like, nigga, shut up.
His name is Dakota Prescott.
He goes by Dak, but his name is Dakota.
So he definitely is biracial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Fuck Dakota. Okay.
I thought you was talking about.
Let me tell you something. My biracial black angel is Patrick Mahomes. Okay, he is a biracial angel. Okay, y'all put some respect on Patrick Mahomes' name. That's my Mahomie. That's my homeboy.
I guess I need to watch football because I thought you were talking about Dakota Fanning, and I was like, "What did that little white girl do to you for you to be effing her off?"
Wait,
I was like, "Who is Dakota?"
First of all, do I need to do a Google dive? Why the fuck are we slamming Dakota Fanning? What the fuck she do?
No, nothing. That's
let me know, Taria, because you be out in these streets, and I'm like, the hell. Why do we hate Dakota now?
Dakota's good, but that's why
I don't know. Now I gotta do. Let me tell you.
That's true.
Now let me text Obi right now. Can you do a deep dive on Dakota Fanning? Because Taria put it out there that she is problematic. No. See how you do?
I saw skeleton somewhere.
Apparently you see how this goes. What is going on?
Quite frankly, I'm afraid to like anyone now. I was listening to. I think I sent it to you and Kendrick. Other than T.I. being on the track, I love the song, Hello, Good Morning. And I was like, wait, let me run through what Puffy did in my brain again. Can I post this? What happened? We know how he did.
Girl, do you know Obi cooked me when he called him P Diddly Daddly? I'm like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Yep, I'm tweeting from the afterlife. No, he did not call him. I used to call him Papa Diddy Pop. I'm like, let me tell you something, Papa Diddy Pop. The fact that Black Rob had to do a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And you are a fucking billionaire. You literally could have just been like, girl, where that little card that got the little money on it? The one that got like a 20,000 limit. Why don't you slide him some money? Because he wasn't even asking for that much money.
No. And then on top of that, Diddy tweeted, pay Black artists what they're worth. And I'm like, and that's what Mace was just saying to you.
I'm like, that is Jeff Bezos of wealthy coming from Sean.
Right. Like Mace looked up and found himself almost, that's why he had to be back again.
He'd be like, so first of all, bitch, where the fuck is my money?
That's all.
Aren't you a pastor still or no? No?
Right.
Are you like Chris from Married at First Sight? I wasn't making any money, so I'm not going to be a pastor anymore. That should have been your red flag, Pastor Calvin. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Move on.
Diddly Daddly sounds like the name he go by when he dancing in these videos.
Yeah. Bad boy.
He definitely be P Diddly Daddy on there.
Call me like P Diddly Daddly.
I swear for God. I swear for God.
P Diddly Daddly.
If that's the next single, who's listening? I'm so used to not having my mic. I went to lean in to be like, I swear for God. I'm like, there is no mic here.
Your mic's around your neck.
What is wrong with you, girl? Anyway, child.
Move on from Mason Betha. I'm his armor bearer. Go ahead.
Girl, child, I can't. Nope.
I pray him down in the church. No.
What is wrong with you? So, C Breezy is here. He is auto engineering extraordinaire. He's also a singer, y'all. Yes, he be getting on with the. Okay. It's like, come on, harmony. I'm like, okay. I hear y'all. Come on, baritone and tenors in the house. I'm like, okay. First tenor and second tenor. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm a first soprano. That's why I know like the breakdowns. They're like, what the hell is a first soprano? I'm like,
that's what my daughter is, which she should be an alto.
They're looking that up right now.
I'll let her have first soprano.
If she's an alto, she should be a second soprano.
She can do for her. She did the scales and her The last time she had a vocal lesson, he said she had all of them pretty much.
Oh, okay.
And to make her keep singing. But I just feel like anyone out there listening, you hear first tenor, first bass, second tenor, third bass, first soprano, second soprano. If you are an alto, know that I see you, because they like to ignore us.
Excuse me, my choir had first and second sopranos, but the only time it really came up is when we did like the big Christmas production, or if we had like the combined choirs. That's why it would come up.
A second soprano ain't nothing but a woman who couldn't hit first and is not good enough to be an alto.
Like, why are you
my
like
choir
this?
Ain't know what second and first was.
Like, why are you like this? I was like,
tenor, alto, soprano.
Why are we slandering sopranos on a Sunday?
Because she an alto stan.
Come on, alto. You know what? That is the show title, Alto Stan. Here we go. Let me write that down right now. So welcome, Cory.
Notice altos don't have 1 and 2s. Well, we shouldn't.
They do have 1 and 2.
Not the good ones.
My choir had like 6 people in it, so we ain't know what first and second.
We had first and second sopranos because we had like award-winning, classically trained musicians at CRL. So we did have first and second altos. So if you're a gospel music fan, don't do this. Kenneth Shelton.
Cory knows Kenny.
I know him. That's my dog.
Yep. Cory was in a group with his brother Lamont.
That's my dog.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you know Randy Roberts? Cory was in the group with him.
Yeah, they're my peoples.
I was in a play with Randy Roberts because he was in The Wiz.
I saw that. Well, I didn't see the play, but I saw the clips.
You were in that.
I was in that.
He's a Wiz.
Yes, he was the Wiz. He was really good. Yeah, he was really good as the Wiz. I loved it. I loved the stage play of the Wiz. I love the movie The Wiz. Somebody was trying to talk to me about the Wiz, and it's like, it was not a failure. Yes, it was. It did not get panned. Yes, it did. So my mother tells me stories when she was in high school because they went to go see it, and she was just like, they weren't checking for musicals. It was all black. It was all black, and it was also a musical.
Especially wasn't checking for that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so the same year that The Wiz came out, Grease came out. However, Grease is different because that's white people.
Right.
We can't. They're like, what about the like? Because Grease was not a flop. The Wiz was, because the white people were like, excuse me, y'all don't fuck up our story. What the fuck is this?
Exactly.
Even though The Wiz is a whole fucking play.
Yeah.
It's a whole stage play. And also they aged up Dorothy to be played by Diana Ross because Berry Gordy's there. Yeah, so anyway, let's move on because I'm like, we're not slandering. This is not slander Berry Gordy Day. Those are on Thursdays. Sundays we don't slander Berry Gordy.
Okay.
I can't do this. So y'all, let's get into some topics. First is a segment called Give Them Their Roses. This is where we give roses to people who have touched us, and also they're still very much alive because a lot of times people give the roses when people have departed, but it's like we got to give roses while people are here. So Taria, I'm gonna let you go first. She's very excited to do this. I don't know what she's about to say.
I need you to treat me like you treated Kendrick, because Kendrick was allowed to split his bouquet, so I'm gonna split my bouquet.
You absolutely can.
I'm splitting it 3 ways. First, I want to give my rose to the host, Stephanie, who every time we have a conversation, I always learn something. She will debate with me back and forth, even though at the end of the day, I sometimes kind of sort of go to her side on it. But we do have very spirited voice notes. She'll be like, yeah, but so I want to give you your rose. You are a smart, intelligent Black woman who is not afraid to stand up and speak when you see injustice, whether it's Black injustice, Asian injustice, LGBTQ, people saying things, negatively about the LGBTQ, homophobia, xenophobia, any kind of phobia. Stephanie will stand for you. If it's a spider phobia, she is out there. She got your back. So Stephanie, thank you for being.
Oh, fuck them spiders. Kill them bitches. Arachnophobia. No, I'm just kidding. They kill bugs, okay? They are nature's exterminator of other bugs. Kill all them fucking flies and gnats and ants. Go right ahead, spiders.
Okay. So that's part of my flowers. My second flowers, I'm gonna give one rose to C Breezy only because he does do a lot behind the scenes, and I told him that we were doing this podcast. I didn't ask him, But
you voluntold him to do something. That's a fire sign to do. No, we got something to do at 2:00. Oh, okay. What are we doing?
Pretty much. Because
pretty much
somewhere.
I see what he brings to the mic. I see what. No, that ain't what I told him yesterday. I see what he brings to the mic.
That's exactly what.
I see what he brings to the mic, and sometimes people need a little help getting into, doing things that maybe they're not used to doing. So I want to give him one. My third rose, I want to give to Mr. Donald Williams II, who was a bystander when George Floyd was murdered. If I said what I said was a person, Donald Williams would be, I said what I said. When that white prosecutor questioned him and defense. Wait, who questioned? Was it defense attorney? One of the attorneys.
It was the defense attorney.
And he said, did you call him a punk? And every time he would answer, he would look over at Derek Chauvin and say, I said it. And he was like, did you call him a bleep, 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 basically like effing PU ... And he said, is that what you heard on the video? Then that's what I said. And the defense attorney kept pushing him. And finally he said, you're not going to paint me as angry. I said what I said. He remained so calm. I don't know if I could have done that. So I'm going to give my roses to him for basically being a voice for George Floyd, because George Floyd can't be his own voice right now. So thank you, Derek Williams II. I posted it on my page. If you guys haven't seen it, it was amazing. So those are who my roses go to.
Okay. Who do you have, Mr. Breezy? Mr. Breezy.
Like the wind, babe.
I'll do 3 roses as well. I'm gonna give my first rose. Obviously to the one and only Wake Up with WEIGO host, Miss Taria Shondell.
Come on.
Yeah, she's doing her thing. Yeah, she's doing her thing. She was a little hesitant on starting this podcast a little while ago because she had another podcast that she wasn't even sure about that one, but she stepped out there on faith, started this podcast, started meeting all kinds of new people, and just started stepping into the person I always knew she was. You know what I mean? Now you guys get to see it, so, and hear it and listen to it every Monday or every Tuesday, and sometimes on Fridays. So you get your roses. You get your roses every day, but I say it on the podcast. But my next rose, I'm gonna give it to you, Steph, just for having me on here. I appreciate you. I listen to your podcast sometimes when Taria has it on the car all D time. That's with a D, all D time.
D time
in the car. Yeah, and I love your views, man. You put your views out there unapologetically, and you stand on what you believe. So, and I like that. That's what makes a good podcaster. Somebody that just, is tells their convictions. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they speak unapologetically, and they'll take it back if they feel like they did something wrong or whatever. But I've never heard you do that, because everything you do comes from the heart. You say how you feel, feel what you say, you know what I mean? So I get that, and I like it. That's great. Amazing. That makes a good podcast.
Thank you.
So bravo to you. My last one is to somebody only one of you know, and that's my mother, Renee Faison. So I'm gonna give her podcast. Her flowers, even though she might not be listening. She might. We'll tell her to listen. She'll listen this time. But my father passed away a couple of years ago, and sometimes everybody they knew together. You know what I mean? They've been together for so long that all their friends and family or whatever, my mom moved away from her family to be with my dad and around his family. She didn't lose contact with her family, but she just pretty much moved away. So all their friends and everybody was a together friend, like a friend of the family or whatever. And then my dad passed. Sometimes you start to see people drop off and you start to feel unappreciated. They was only here for him. They wasn't here for me. They was here for, they might have been here for both of us, but they definitely wasn't here for me. But she has 6 kids. We all love her and care for her dearly. She has friends that are starting to come around. She's starting to come into her own and realize the people that are there for her, the friends that are there, like her friends and not friends of the couple. She's starting to grow and do things on her own. My mom was very timid, very shy. She didn't go out a lot. if it wasn't with my dad. Now she's starting to do things on her own and find her own legs. So she get her flowers while she's still here.
Yeah, that's good. And she found her voice. She found her voice.
That is beautiful. Yeah. That is beautiful. That's it, Mama Renee. You're not no stranger to me, so you let me know when I'm meeting Mama Renee, because I'm
okay. We'll have her up. She would like you.
Oh my gosh.
She down for meeting.
Come on. So I'm going to give my roses to Pinky Cole. So if everybody doesn't know who Pinky Cole is, she is the owner of Slutty Vegan.
Yes.
So
that's a good one.
So it's interesting because I didn't realize the connection. I went to high school. I graduated high school with her sister.
Really? So they're from Maryland?
She's from Baltimore. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, because it's like I found her sister in a while, and it's like when we had our like reunion a couple years ago, it's like she didn't even mention it because Omala was just a really cool person, and she's just really, really sweet. But she's always been like that since high school. Pinky Cole, I'm giving her her flowers because she started Slutty Vegan. So when we think about veganism, we don't think about Black people for some odd reason. And some of the best vegan food I've ever had is from Black people.
Okay.
So it's like, it's seriously, it's like, it's really good. And everybody loves Slutty Vegan. It's down in Atlanta. I think she's opening a few locations, other places, because I think she has 2 locations right now in Atlanta. Because actually Omala will move to Georgia to help her with that. She's doing other things, but she also was like, I'm going to Georgia. So Pinky is partnering with the Shake Shack to do a limited edition vegan burger, which I'm very happy to hear about, because there are a lot of people who love Slutty Vegan. They're like, it's super good. Even during like the pandemic, their stuff didn't slow down. People just waited in line. So it's kind of like those kind of places that are restaurants, but it's not really sit down per se. A lot of them didn't stop because it still was like people coming in. They may do like express orders, may do the dashes, the Uber Eats or whatever, but they didn't slow down. So I'm just so happy to see Pinky Cole because she's from Baltimore. So it's like when you see people from your hometown like doing big things, that's how I felt about Drew Hill to a certain extent until everybody's little until everybody figured out that the thong song really is it's like literally one set of lyrics. He just keep repeating that shit. It was like, God damn. I'm like, it's like he got the chorus, but all the verses are literally the same thing. He just keeps saying them different. He added more vocals. I'm like, bitch, this is a genius, because we love that damn song at spring break for TRL. Okay.
You better. That might be the reason I tried my first pair, and I was very grown.
Oh, okay, very good. I don't need to know what's going to happen on your OnlyFans, child. I don't need to know like the preview. So preview, Taria is going to be on the Sea Breezy OnlyFans in her thong. You be like, why?
We might
you just wanted to be a podcast, and here you are shaking your ass.
We might have Cisco in the back on that baby. That dong.
No, he might do it. You don't know.
Me dyeing my hair blonde.
He'd be like, how? Like
I draw the line at the thong.
Right, hold on. He could be like an IG story. You may wonder why my hair is blonde.
Right.
Y'all find out in a minute. You're like, what?
She already had me trying to be Bolo. I'm like, now I got to be Cisco too.
That you were fucking a pumpkin. Hashtag it was a pumpkin.
It was a pumpkin.
It's a pumpkin, goddammit. They're like, it's a melon. What melon look like that? That is a pumpkin. And also, I'm so confused. I'm like, so I have so many questions. The first is, how is this sexy that you literally like crushed a pumpkin with your dick? And it's like, see this? It was like, so the way uteruses work and cervixes work, I feel like this is not entertaining. And also the music is very weird. It's very much like, is this Saw? What the fuck is going on here? I'm like, I
just don't understand how that's out on the free web, because that's not even what I was looking for when I happened upon it.
It's like, I was like, I'm so intrigued. First of all, what the fuck is with this music? Look, I have high standards for my sex movies. The music needs to make sense.
Well, and then
it did not make sense. I feel like he was about to like sacrifice somebody.
I had to tell Cory about it, and I was like, I promise you I wasn't looking, because I only look for porn on Tuesdays. It is Thursday, so you know I wasn't looking. But look, no, I say that meaning I wasn't looking for it. I watched the video. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I didn't know he destroyed it at the end until somebody told me. But I did watch almost until the end, and I was like, what is this? Chelsea, our friend, AKA Oh No Bravo, had my DMs flooded like that pumpkin was flooded. Can you send me the video? Can you send me the video? So I'm
like, what video? I'm like, y'all bet. She's like, y'all better message Taria. You're like, yes. No, don't message Taria. No.
But look, it actually created some dialogue because I started talking to some of them. Of course, you know. But what I did was I copied and pasted this message. This is not safe for work. I don't want to get you kicked off of Instagram. So I'm going to screenshot the article heading, and this is what you type in. So when it comes up, this is what you'll see.
I want to know what part of porn is safe for work. Like, this is not safe for work. It's porn. So unless your job is actually in adult entertainment, I feel like that's the only way. Like, this is fine.
People are into different things. I just
don't know, Taria. I'm like, I want to know what.
Speaking of porn, can we rewind a minute and what? Do we know why she named it Slutty Vegan? Because I got images in my brain that I don't. That don't have nothing to do with vegans.
I was actually going. Right. I wondered that too.
Because that's the thing. I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up because I'm wondering why she called it Slutty Vegan.
Maybe the food is so good it tastes like porn.
It's catchy.
It is because it's like when you go there, it's kind of like you're slutified because right around the Potomac reunion, here go Jamal Bryan doing it. I'm being slutified, and I'm sitting here like
I saw it.
So I said, this is probably the wrong road. Wrong road.
I saw that. I was like, no, because we don't know what's getting ready to come up, sir.
It's like, good Lord, he's slutified. We already knew that, bitch. Wait, no, he's talking about Slutty Vegan. Leave us alone. So yeah, I don't know how we got on Slutty Vegan, but yeah, I know because of my roses. Because of my roses. So yeah, shout out to Pinky Cole. She's doing big things, and it's kind of like she started with a truck, and then she got like a brick and mortar store. Now she has different locations, and now she's partnering with Shake Shack.
She said, I'm sorry, I looked it up. She came up with the name as a provocative hook. She stated in an interview, "Slutty Vegan, to my mind, is someone who eats vegan but enjoys junk food as long as it's not dead."
Nice.
So the slutty
like
vegan,
an animal, yeah. So
gotcha.
Yeah, because I heard them fries are to die for, and those burgers are good.
Everyone that talks about it. So my uncle has a friend. We go to my family's from Florida, and we go to fly into Atlanta and then drive to where my uncle lives, Valdosta.
Okay.
And
okay.
I don't even know why I told you that. It had something to do with Slutty Vegan, and it's gone. What was I getting ready to say? I do know that people love the food. I will say that, but I can't remember where in my mind that was going. And I also know that it's not just vegans that love the food.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to be vegan. And I think that's the big thing. If people talk about vegan, they're like, "Oh, you're eating vegan food." I'm like, I'm not a vegan, and it's like I love vegan food, especially if it has a lot of flavor. Yeah, because it's like you have to play with those stuff. You have to play with vegan cheese because it melts differently. It's like it works differently when you have vegan mayonnaise. Because I made a curried roasted cauliflower and carrot couscous salad. I got the recipe from my friend who got it from a vegan website, and in the recipe it calls for vegan mayonnaise, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Give me the eggs. I can't do this. I'll just use light mayonnaise. Because my best friend, we're both fully vaccinated, and she came over last night, and I told her about it, and she was just like, I've had vegan mayonnaise, and she's like, I don't really taste the difference. That's what she's saying. So I think when you have vegan stuff, and they're like, why would you have vegan mayonnaise? And because mayonnaise is made out of eggs, and vegans do not eat eggs.
Right. I think there's a vegan place in Baltimore that Sky wants to try.
Yes. Oh.
He's into trying the foods, and I'm going to go. They have macaroni and cheese and all kinds of things.
Yeah, because they'll use the vegan mac and cheese. I think I know Land of Kush with a K. That's probably what she's talking about. It's a curry chicken. It's supposed to be curry chicken. It is so fucking good. It is really, really good. That curry chicken. Chicken.
Isn't Kush wheat?
Yes, Aunt Taria. Yes. Is that the weed that your kids smoke?
I know what
is that the wacky tobacco? He's like, yes. Auntie Stephanie says yes. TT Stephanie said yes.
Good.
Good. That purple haze that Urkel.
Look here, I just want Cook to send me pictures of her weed because her weed is just beautiful. I'm like, I don't smoke the weed. I just like looking at Cook's weed. I'm like, it's always pretty. She did this one, I think it was Blu-ray Pie, and it's like this pretty purple color. I'm like, I'm just fascinated by the way it looks. It just looks beautiful.
Yeah, because that's different. It used to look like oregano when I was coming up.
Yeah, you know, the weed, the kush. Okay, so let's play Am I the Asshole?
Okay.
I picked this one because my day job involves resources of humans.
Okay.
So I picked this one.
Oh, okay.
Am I the asshole for not answering any contact from work while on maternity leave? I work for my cousin. Okay. That is red flag right here.
That's number one. Like, that's a red flag.
Exactly. Number one. I work for my cousin.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're in the same field, but he owns a business. I started working for him 5 years ago and worked my way up to second or third in command at his fairly small company. Okay. I took 9 months of maternity leave, starting 2 weeks before my due date. My child is now 6 months old, meaning I'm currently in my 7th month of leave and go back to work in about 10 weeks. During the last 7 months, there's been a few crises at work. They called me and I fixed it. They should not have been doing this due to my maternity leave, but I didn't mention it because these were legitimate crises, and most of the time it was my cousin asking. However, because I'm entering the end of my leave, I want some time completely free of work to recharge before I have to dive back in. So starting 2 weeks ago, I stopped answering my phone. At some point it died, so I put it in a drawer and haven't plugged it in since. I have a landline for emergencies, a laptop to keep in touch with people, and a TV for entertainment. So I'm enjoying the break from the phone without issue. However, my cousin tried to call me about a week ago to get help with a client I handle. I had passed this client on to someone else, but something went wrong. My cousin called me to help, and because I didn't answer, we lost the client. I knew their contract was up for renewal, but I didn't think there would be any issues, so I saw no reason to check my phone. My cousin has told our family what happened. He's furious with me for not having my phone turned on when I knew that client would be up for renewal. He also says that as I had been answering my phone this whole time, I should have warned someone that I would be uncontactable. I feel like that's not a word. I have called the client and tried to fix it, but they've already signed on with someone else. My cousin, wanting to stop this from happening again as several more clients are up for renewal in the next couple of months, has said I have to be available for the next couple of months so he can call me if there is another issue. I've said that I am on maternity leave and therefore I should be left alone, so I will be leaving my phone off, and it's shitty of him to ask otherwise. My cousin said that I was being selfish and accused me of trying to fuck him over, and my mother and aunt agree with him, saying if I don't answer my phone, there may not be a company to come back to, and accuse me of taking advantage of him because he's my cousin, as anyone would have fired me over this. No, they wouldn't have.
No, they wouldn't have.
I've responded that if my cousin can't run his own business without me, then he's incompetent and shouldn't be in charge of an omelet, let alone a company. They said that was uncalled for and told me to switch my mobile on now so he can call me if he needs, but I'm still refusing.
Who called her and said switch it on now?
So
the family?
I think the family, yes. The family.
That's a lot.
And there's also an update. Before I give you an update, what are y'all thoughts so far?
Cory, you want to go? Because I just have a quick one.
I mean, I'm torn. I mean, I can't really speak from her being on maternity leave as far as her being off. 9 months is a long time to be off when you got your own specific clientele that you deal with.
Right. Wait, she was off 9 months? That's what it was?
Yeah, she took 9 months of maternity leave.
Well, she hadn't reached the 9 months yet, but she took 9 months off. I think I don't know what point in her 9 months that all that occurred, but you know, she got specific clientele that apparently I don't know that anybody else can handle. It seems like you know, the other people should, especially her cousin who's the owner. Right. But I mean, when I take off, you know, when I take off just for a week, I leave my phone on because I got specific clientele that if somebody has a question or whatever, they can just call me. It doesn't really take away from my time off. I'm only on the phone for probably, you know, a few minutes while I get things sorted out or whatever. And then I'm right back to my vacation. So to me, it's not a problem to leave my phone on, you know, because I don't get called that much. And when I do, I'm not on there that long. But for her, apparently she wanted to be able to, she designated a time where she would answer her phone, but I guess they were calling her way too much. So she designated another time where she wasn't going to answer her phone. I think the only thing wrong with that is she should have just told them, hey, look, you know, I'm on maternity leave. I'm going to turn my phone off. You know, you guys are on your own. You know what I mean? At least tell them.
Yeah.
She just went MIA. But, you know, I mean, that's where I'm torn, because I don't see a problem with answering the phone while I'm on vacation. If I don't want to answer it, I'm not going to answer it. Right. And y'all just got to figure it out. I'm not going to get fired. You can't say nothing about me when I come back to work. Nothing like that, because I don't have to answer my phone. I do it as a courtesy.
Right.
So, but, you know, like you said, to start this whole thing off, you know, that being your cousin was a big no.
Yeah.
You know, you take liberties that most companies don't take. You know,
Correct.
Her cousin took liberties with her. She takes liberties with her cousin.
Correct.
So I don't know how far that went, but that's where I stand on it.
Thank you. What do you got, Taria?
I feel the same. I feel like her first mistake was going on maternity leave and then compromising by saying
during maternity leave.
And I wonder if it was before she delivered or if it was after, because it was only a couple of weeks before she delivered,
did 2 weeks. She started her maternity leave 2 weeks before she gave birth.
It was definitely during the time she had the baby then. So I feel like she kind of set herself up, because she was answering the phone and getting into it. Now, she, by rights, she very well could have said, I'm on maternity leave, like Cory said, do not call. Or she could have continued to answer. And then when that point came, when she was like, I'm not answering anymore, she should have gave them a heads up, because the message you're giving to them is that they can call you, because they're probably thinking it's something solvable.
It's something quick and you can fix it.
So for you to just go MIA, even though by rights, you don't have to answer, but you set that standard. So they're just following the standard you set. Now you go MIA, and it did cost the company some money. It cost them a client, clearly, and the client was clearly paying them. I just feel like she should have been very clear. Look, y'all, from this point on, I'm these 10 weeks, I'm not answering my phone. That's it. I'm done. Y'all are going to have to figure it out. And then just not answer. But then I don't like how the cousin got the family involved.
Right.
Because my boss wouldn't be calling my mom
at all.
So that to me is unprofessional. And that's where that liberty thing comes. It's like, if you are going to be professional, you need to be professional 100%. And then them telling her you need to turn your phone on and that's it. Who you talking to? Y'all don't work there. Y'all don't pay me. So I wonder, can I guess maybe did she end up leaving the company or getting fired or suing him?
She got to read the update.
So let me tell you,
I'm wondering what the update is.
So here's the update, and I'm gonna give my thoughts after the update.
Okay.
Update. First off, thank you for your support, advice, and differing perspectives you provided on my first post. Most of you agreed that I should not be working for my cousin. I mentioned on the last post that I had some offers from competitors. I feel like she did. Maybe she didn't. I don't know. I didn't pay attention. Like and while most paid about the same, they required to step down in my career. A few of you pointed out that if I can earn the same money after a step down, something isn't matching up. I did some research and came to the conclusion that I'm being overworked and underpaid. I also triple checked all my notes for the last 7 months of leave and calculated that I had worked for 87 days out of just over 200. That was where I hit my limit. I then reached out to some of the people who had made offers previously and asked if they could give me a formal offer. 3 of them did. My favorite has fewer hours / responsibilities and more money, and they're fine waiting on me to finish up my planned maternity leave 9 more weeks before I start. I had a check-in day scheduled for later this month, but I pulled it forward to Monday and asked my cousin and a few others to be there. I laid out all of the above. I was open to negotiating in a way that would let me stay in the company, but my cousin flew off the handle, and after that, we agreed that me staying was no longer an option. As I have 9 weeks of leave left, I will hand in my notice, meaning I will not come back to work, but I will be paid for this time, as well as compensated for the leave I lost. My cousin has blocked me on everything, but his mom has called my mom, who has been yelling at me for 2 days. I had to block my own mother. My cousin is attempting to rally our entire family against me, but I have Nan on my side. So he is not succeeding. I am never working with family again. Okay, so with that update, she's not the asshole for not answering the phone. So
Exactly.
She's an asshole for not communicating that she's not answering the phone, but she's not an asshole for not doing it. So the fact that you okayed, because you got to get approval. She can't walk in and say, I'm taking off 9 months of maternity leave without you okaying it. She also passed off her clients to other people, but either the person, because that's, I think when it comes to certain businesses, certain people are like, I can only my temperament only works with this person. So the person that she probably handed it off to, probably in the same temperament, they're like, yeah, I don't like this person. So the cousin is dead ass wrong. Sir, you can't be professional and then personal by bringing in the whole family. It's like, so one, you're dead ass wrong. And hi, HR here. No, she wouldn't have gotten fired ever. She would not get fired, especially if she's filling out for leave, and also if she has FMLA. So for everybody who doesn't know what the Family Medical Leave Act is, means that if you have to be out an extended amount of time, your job is protected. So no, you couldn't have fired him. But if we're talking about a small business, she may not have applied for FMLA, but then she can also go to the labor laws. They're all different in every state. You could have a case if he had fired you. So she could have ate his ass up in court. So it's like, it's so many different things. And I'm like, the thing about, she doesn't have to answer. I feel like the reason why she just said, I'm going to take these last 2 weeks of my leave is because you kept calling her.
Right.
If you had just left her alone, and then within the last couple of weeks of her leave, you started getting phone calls, she probably would have been fine. But the fact that y'all been calling his day and one, she had a whole human come out of her body, and she's trying to actually bond with this human. And also most women who work in like corporate America, with leave at the most 3 months.
I had 6 weeks.
You had 6 weeks. It's like at the most is 3 months, and then after that, that might be considered long-term disability, depending on who you ask. So if you don't, so it's kind of like you're sitting here like, are y'all kidding right now?
Your hormones aren't even back together for like another year or two.
Right. Do you know how many women would love 9 months of paid maternity leave?
That's why I was like 9 months.
I was like, you got the paid.
Yeah, like, I mean, that isn't that irregular? I mean, 9 months. I mean,
it's very irregular.
At the most,
that's way more than what you need. Not saying she didn't have to take that, but that's way more than what you actually need, right? Like you said, you took 6 weeks.
I took 6 weeks, but I will say
3 months.
I feel like 12.
Well, I guess my question is, why do you think she took 9 months?
I think it's mostly because she has the financial means to do so. Because I think that's the other thing. Because at the most it is 12 weeks, which is 3 months. And most people don't have the PTO to back that up. Depending on your company, it may have to be included in your benefits that you pay for short-term disability. Some places it's just automatic, other places it's not. We have not gotten to a place in our country where we have paid maternity leave. So if mothers have to go out and, bond with their child, they're using their PTO. They're not, there's no paid maternity leave. They're inching towards that. It's coming, but it's not like a mass federal mandate. It's not all across the board. Hence why Serena's husband is like, no, we should have paid maternity leave. Because a lot of other countries actually do have paid maternity leave. We just don't. And at the most, it's probably going to be maybe 4 weeks. There's a lot of places that are kind of inching towards like trying to supplement people who have short-term disability, so that, because short-term disability doesn't pay 100% of someone's pay. At the most, it's like 60 to 75, and 75 is very generous. So it's typically about 60. So people are try to bring this in. It's not even like out of short-term disability. It's just basically to supplement that you get 100% of your paycheck. So it's like, we're not at this place. The cousin is dead ass wrong to involve the family. It's like, if this is not a family business, is everybody working there? No, it's just your cousin. And you feel like because she's your cousin, you can talk to her any kind of way. Hi, HR here. No, the fuck you can't.
Yeah. And I will say, Cory, when you talked about the months, it's almost, we normalized 3 months, 12 weeks. However, biologically, a woman's body is not even fully healed for 12 months. So I know
a whole year.
Let's talk real talk. Sometimes you go back to work, you're still bleeding. Your uterus still is not all the way back to where it was.
And you're crying every day when you go in the job. You're like, I don't want to leave. I'm leaving my baby. I feel like I'm abandoning my baby. I've heard that.
Even if
I guess that was my question, because for her to take 9 months, I wondered, did she need 9 months? And if she needs 9 months, how come you didn't need 9 months? You know what I mean?
I didn't need 9 months. I feel like
stuff like that.
I probably did, but see, in my mind, I can't need 9 months because at that time we couldn't afford 9 months. So to me, there wasn't even a possibility.
That's the thing.
It was, I didn't even allow myself to think I could use. I remember going back to work, still being ankles, still swelling. Like I said, still bleeding a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Breast definitely still lactating.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, I didn't struggle with postpartum depression, but for the women who do, going back to a job. So the doctor says you need 12 months to heal. I mean, I remember having my oldest, who's 24, and my parents were like, you're out. And it's like, had been like 3 weeks, you're out. And then you got the baby out in the rain and you're out. The old people believed in staying and that women don't go out because you're not fully healed. I had a lady tell me that I was going to deal with body aches and pains because because I was out too soon with my oldest and went back to work too soon with my oldest. And that was just a part-time job. So fortunately for this woman, and I wonder if she's white, she said I had Nan on my side and she kept saying mom.
So
yeah, maybe not,
she
but
might be.
I just feel
she
like
may not be.
That's what I was wondering. Or
Right?
Nan, the grandmom. I had Nan for nanny.
Yeah, that's
like
what I
had
thought.
Nana on my side.
Mom could be grandmom too.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So it's kind of like maternity leave is fucked up in our country because basically it's like you have to go back. Like my mother, when she had me, she said, Stephanie, the first 3 months, your grandmother didn't let me do anything. She wouldn't even let me walk up and down the stairs. Nope. She did everything for me. She was like, nope, you're not doing nothing. Yep. So that was the first 3 months. So, and that's the thing. It's just like, it's weird because and also because I work in HR, I've seen women who have babies and they literally resign and say, I'm not coming back.
Well, I have a pending case from an accident, and the person who was working on my case got pregnant. She went out on leave. I definitely noticed a difference. So that whole working with certain clients, I didn't like the person that took over was supposed to contact me 3 times, and it kind of
really.
And as soon as the woman got back that was handling my case, she was on it. She was there for 2 weeks and said, I don't want to be here. I want to be home with my baby, and resigned.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to go back to work because I felt like it kept me busy, but physically, I don't think I was ready. Mentally, of course, but I mean, and then everybody's different too. Everybody's biological makeup is different. I do believe that our country needs to definitely get better on maternity and paternity. The father needs to bond with the baby too.
Correct. Because some of them, like at the most, they may just take 2 weeks of their PTO and then come back to work.
To take a day or two, and that was me having the baby in the day after. Like he wasn't able to take like a week or 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, when I had my daughter, my youngest.
Full disclosure, I didn't really know I could. I probably would have.
And that's the thing. And that's one of the things that they don't let people know. So they definitely, there's a lot of places that rely on employees asking questions. Because people aren't that transparent. They're like, oh, okay, I didn't realize I could take time off as a dad. I thought that was only for the mamas. I didn't know I could have took some off.
And he did good taking off. To me, I felt like taking off the day after, because in your mind, you just think you can't. And I mean, he literally got off work. I had to go in to get induced. He got off work that morning. And my youngest, my son, who was the youngest at the time, was supposed to go with his cousin, but she lived like 40 some minutes away. So he was in the waiting. He had worked 12 or so hours and was in the waiting room with my son while I had my daughter. Like he had to get. So it was very much like, wow, they don't care about that kind of stuff. He was there for like my son and everything there. And now with my son, I will say we were in a different space, and I used my vacation. So I took off like 2 or 3 months before, and then only like 6 weeks after.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of women who like literally they'll work up until the week or the day before they give birth.
Our youngest,
especially if they're being induced, because they're like, oh, it's my induction date is this day, so I'm gonna work up until this day.
I did.
And then when you ask why, they're like, because I want to make sure I have all my PTO, so when I go out, I have this. And I'm like, what are we doing to women that are pregnant? Because one, it's like kind of hard to work like at your same pace when you literally have a whole human in your body.
It was hard.
And the baby dropped. You're like, God damn it. I'm like, can I just sit down? Like, child, can I just work from home? Can I do something else? So yeah, I picked this one for a reason because I'm sitting here like, this is so wild. And also I would have punched him right in his face.
I think culturally too, the makeup of Black people, the makeup of different races, Black women and Black men, we operate as though we don't have choices. So I remember when Mariah Carey checked herself into the mental health facility after being on TRL with Carson Dale. And I remember my grandma, I was walking through the living room and she said, checked her in for, what is it called when you're not over, what is the word when they say, when she checked herself into the hospital for, basically she needed rest, like
dehydrate. I think
it was like more mental, but like she
I forgot what she's.
I can't remember the word. Y'all know it. I can't think, but I remember my grandma saying, "What, child?"
I think it was exhaustion. I think she may have said exhaustion.
And my grandma was basically like, "That's a part of life. You don't get to."
That feeds into the whole. You can be Black or you can be crazy, but you can't be Black and crazy.
Yes,
it's like you got to pick a struggle, and I was like, so. Man, I'm glad. I'm glad we're starting to divest from that.
We don't look at it like we have choices.
Yeah, it's like, I just got to keep going because whatever choice do I have? And it's like, so you have them out there, but it's like we don't ask the question because I think it's also the whole strong Black woman thing, and we don't want to seem like weak, especially in front of these white people. So we're not going to ask the questions. And like, well, shit, I could have did this. It's like, yeah, you could. I did it. And it's like, oh, that's only for white people. I'm like, so it's not. It's not. It's for all of us, but just know there's some white people in HR who won't tell you this.
Wow. Yeah.
The Black HR people will tell you this.
That's a lesson.
You'll find out when you see them taking full advantage.
Right. And you're like, what are you doing?
Because I'm like, no, call this number, call this number, call that number. Make your call. I'm like, these are good. I'm like, no, fair question. Here you go. Here's some contact information. Wow. So yeah, I picked this one for a reason. So this was
good. I will say this, talking about it just now, it literally just clicked in that one day, Cory and I will be grandparents, hopefully. And I will, for my daughters.
Here come Nana Tata. Nana Tata gonna be running around the house. Girl, what you doing? Hold on, let me fix you something to eat.
No, that's gonna be Pop. I'm gonna be like,
my daddy's a Pop. He goes by Pop.
I don't even like the way that sound right now.
My grandfather was a Pop.
Mine was too. So the fact that my father goes by Pop and I had a Pop, it's like, it's actually kind of cute when my nephew says, "Hey, Pop."
Yeah. But my daughters, I'm going to remember this and make sure. And I hope that I'm in a place where I can be there for them and say, you need to rest. Let me come help. Which is why a lot of white families, they have a mom come help take care of the baby. So the mom can get rest.
Because there's a lot of cultures that like is part of their culture. It's like you look at Middle Eastern, you look at Hispanic and Latino folks, it's like their mamas come and help. Yeah. So it's like, I think when you think about mamas helping, it seems like it's a Southern Black thing, but I feel like it's just the Black friend thing in general, but you see a lot of Southern Black mamas taking those stances. Like, okay, let me help you with the baby. Girl, why are you walking around? Sit your ass down. I will bring you something to eat. Yeah. The only thing you should be getting up to do is going to the bathroom. There's some Black mamas who feel that way when their grandbabies get here. So there's that. All right, y'all, let's start low key. We're going to touch on a few things because, they booked and busy. They got somewhere to go. Well, they're not filming y'all OnlyFans, y'all. Don't even look for it. See, Breezy will not put that link in his bio.
Well, since we did take a while, we're gonna have to give you extra time. We were recording ours, so we're gonna have to give you, because we want to get through all the topics, so we know how to run through them.
Come on, Chris Brown, run it. Okay. Sorry. This is what happened. Cory like, what the fuck did I just get into? This is gonna be all day. So
just along for the ride.
Come on, long for the ride. So let's start low key. We're gonna talk about the story of the Black Buffalo police officer. She was on the job. Her partner was putting a suspect in the chokehold. She stopped him. She got fired, and then they didn't want to pay her pension. She has now been vindicated.
Just talking about
this has been going on since 2006. It is 2021. She has been fighting this for years. Wow. So she will now receive her pension as of last Tuesday, which I believe was April 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she is now getting her pension.
No, was it April 6th or the 13th? One of them, which would, depending on if it was this week, it's the 13th.
So today is April 18th, y'all. And she said, so 17 years ago, this is what it happened.
Right. Oh, wow. I was like, it took the entire world to go crazy for them to give her her pension.
Right. But it took the entire world. She stopped them choking. And look what's happened.
Yeah.
How many people have we lost to police choking?
Correct. So in his ruling, Judge Dennis Ward wrote that the city of Buffalo has recognized the error and has acknowledged the need to undo an injustice from the past. The legal system can at the very least be the mechanism to help justice prevail, even if belatedly. So this leans to the whole why the good cops not speaking up. When they do, especially if you're a black cop, you get in trouble for saying it.
Yes.
Because I think there was a black cop who was talking about he was in his car. It was a TikTok video talking about what happened to George Floyd. He got fired after that video when they started going viral.
Yes, yep.
She got fired because she went against her partner and saying what he was doing is wrong. One, chokeholds are illegal, so you can't choke anybody. So she stopped that. She stopped her partner from killing someone. So when we look at like police officers, why they always clicked up and it's always this thin blue line and they always back the blue, it's because one, when you do speak up, you're actually made a pariah. And I'm not excusing people who don't speak up, but we need to add the nuance of that. It's like they'll get punished for that. But then there's the rub. You don't want people to say shitty things about the police force, but when they do say, hey, what you're doing is wrong, they're like, wait a minute, how are you going to go against us? Because it's fucking wrong. What we doing? This is why, y'all need to stop acting like when police officers put on that badge and that hat, that's changing the person that they are. No, the shitty person that they were before just got a badge and a gun now, and can actually convince y'all that she has worked here for 26 years and she don't know the difference between a fucking gun and a fucking taser. Yes, we're talking about Daunte Wright because now I can get my whole feelings together because I swear I want to punch her in the face.
Yeah. Can I say, as far as the cops and this fraternity, this brotherhood, so I have a very, very, very good friend who is good friends with a black woman police officer. And I know her too. We went to church with her. And my friend has to tell her sometimes, her mentality, she gets very upset when somebody says something about the police. And she said, you do know all of y'all are not good, right? We're not saying there are no good ones, but she defends the cops. As if they don't do anything.
It's like when we think back to post-segregation, integration, black cops couldn't arrest white people. They still wouldn't let them do it. Y'all let them on the force, but you wouldn't let them enforce laws with white people. They would let them do it with the black people. And if they were anywhere near nice, it's no, you need to be more tough because people in this part of town, they are animals. So you got to treat them like animals. And some people bought into that shit. Other people I'm not doing that. It's like that. So it's even if a white person, literally, you can see somebody, white person robbing the banks. They can see it and they still are not. They're like, no, you can't do nothing.
Right.
So are you going to arrest them? No, maybe, not really.
I've been saying it for years. I mean, you got racist people on your job. You got racist people in Walmart or whatever. I mean, just people walking down the street. Why wouldn't you have racist cops? What makes you believe there's not racist
racist
cops,
doctors?
Racist judges,
why do you think the buck stop here at their job?
Racist doctors.
Right. Yeah. It's why do you think that these I'm sorry, I unplug my racism when I go to work. No, they don't.
Exactly.
No, they don't. They don't unplug it.
They just find a different way to channel it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Give a racist some power and see what the fuck happens. They can push an old man down so hard he bleeds out of his ears. There's video, and they will still tell you, "Oh no, he fell." Mind you, this was a whole white man.
Find a way to murder a black man and say it was an accident.
It was an accident.
It was an accident.
So I'm trying to think of who it was where they lied on the report and said he was fleeing the scene, but they shot him in the back, and it was so the video don't match what you're saying. This is what we're talking about.
The boy that was killed in Walmart. Couple years ago
with the BB gun.
With the BB gun, they lied on the report, and then when they realized that there were cameras,
then they changed it.
Yeah, I mean, what's the repercussion for that? You know,
That's
there's no
Judy,
accountability for that, for people clearly lying on a report.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, yeah, there's nothing. No. Like, oh, well, like, shut the hell up. It's like, child, I'm so glad she got her pension, but the fact that she had to fight for over a decade for something that is owed to her, meaning that she couldn't go, these racist cops, they get to be plugged and played everywhere else. She couldn't go nowhere.
Right.
And was just like, so what has she been doing for work for this last, what?
Years.
15 years? It's like, what the fuck?
And what are her legal fees? Like,
what was the legal grounds for being fired? What was that?
Probably like, something that they invented. It's like, I don't even know what rules they use. And then also taking her pension. It's like, wait a minute. What?
Right, because she didn't do, they probably tried to make it seem like she broke some kind of policy.
Some kind of policy, some kind of
rule.
If
you get fired, you don't get pension. You know, that automatically negates the pension.
My mom.
Some of them cops do. Yeah. That's the police union is like the weirdest union I've ever seen. But you know, I'm somebody who's like, unions are beneficial. The cop union, on the other hand, they are snakes. They're like, yeah, I get that he killed 3 people, but he's a cop. It's part of his job. It is not his job to kill somebody. You are supposed to enforce laws. You are not Judge Dredd, bitch. Right. You are not the law.
And also, they won't fire them. They'll have them resign so they can get their pension.
They can keep their pension. They fire you, you don't.
Exactly.
So it's like, you're going to have to resign. They didn't let her resign. They fired her ass. It's like,
and my mom works at a place where you get a pension. If you get fired for a certain thing, you can't get it.
Yeah.
But other things you can.
See how that works?
Interesting.
So next story. Now, if y'all listen to Wake Up with WEIGO, you heard Taria touch on this story. She is a fool. Oh my God, that's me, girl. That's me.
Can I say
she brought up?
Sorry, real quick, not to be real, but you and Kendrick had me screaming, guys. If you haven't listened to Stephanie's last episode with Kendrick, I'm on my second listen still.
See, we're a fool.
Stephanie had sent us a voice note, and I was like, I'm trying to listen to like you and Kendrick. Like, I can't be listening to your voice notes. I'm listening to your podcast. But I was jogging and Stephanie said, when Taria wins an award, I'm going to be screaming. I was like, yeah! At the track.
I'm going to be that friend. See, I'm going to be Taraji P. Henson when everybody, girl, come hug me because we made it. Girl, come hug me.
I was going to say, we made it. Me. Right. I'm sorry.
It's like, that's going to be me. I am Taraji P. Henson. She is my Patronus. That is me when I see Black women winning. Well, Black people. Period,
what is Patronus? Is that another Marvel character or something?
I love this auntie vibes. I love it. So for everybody who doesn't know, saying something is a spirit animal is offensive to indigenous folks. So, you know, it's been employed to say Patronus. That is from Harry Potter. So you do a spell, and what comes out is called your Patronus.
I know he's not.
So it comes out like whatever your Patronus is. It can be like some sort of animal, but it's like it's represented by a good thought, and then it manifests into an animal.
Okay.
So instead of calling it spirit animal, leave our indigenous folks alone.
Okay.
It's like leave our 2 spirit folks alone.
Okay.
I say Patronus, and shout out to Kerry Washington because she had tweeted out a few years ago saying spirit animal, and somebody indigenous said, Kerry, that's very offensive to indigenous people. She did not do what a lot of people do. Like, what you mean? I didn't mean like that. She said, I am so sorry. Thank you for telling me that. I won't do it again.
Wow.
Right.
That is how you don't get canceled, folks, when you actually own up to your shit. Yeah. It's like, if you didn't know, you just didn't know. Because one, how would you know that? Not saying it's not, not out there. It's kind of like more people have to start correcting people in their culture. I'm like, hey, can you stop making my culture your funny little bit in y'all costume? The more you tell people, it's like it gets out there. Because when the person said, I was like, I didn't know that. I was like,
and
because notice we don't say sit Indian style. You know, kind of remember when we were in school, they were like, okay, sit on the carpet Indian style. They don't see that. They don't say that anymore.
Now I do. Okay.
Yeah. When I was a kid, they used to say it.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'll be 40 this year. So that's how long ago. This was in elementary school. Because you notice what they say to little kids in pre-K and kindergarten, first grade.
When I learned to not say it today.
I remember.
Yeah. So it's like, you remember they used to say Indian style or call someone an Indian giver. It was like,
right.
So we killed them. So y'all might want to stop that.
Right. Don't be, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff that's like out of the lexicon.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
What are we on? Reading Rainbow. I'm learning all kinds of stuff today.
Right. Come on, LeVar Burton.
I love him. I love LeVar Burton. Y'all just don't know. I'm like, and I think Reading Rainbow is on Paramount Plus. So if y'all want to get y'all fix, I think Reading Rainbow is on Paramount Plus or HBO Max.
I think I'll go back and watch a couple of episodes. I used to love that.
I loved Reading Rainbow.
Cory, I'm not going to get into what he watches because you might like it, and then it's going to be 2 against 1. I'm not.
Yes, let's not.
What's that dragon story that's still going on because it's never ending? That one.
The dragon.
I thought we weren't getting into this.
That's not going to get into it. So look, anyway, this is what
not
Cory
on the
watches.
list of topics.
Right.
Can we? All right. So,
but I will say, the auntie
Lord,
vibe is funny. I just didn't know. This was funny. I didn't know what Patronus was, and I also they were watching something, and you and Kendrick happened to be watching it too, or something. And I was like, "Is that the Winter Falcon?" I thought that's what it was called. What is it called? The Winter what?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes,
but if you look on Twitter, we got Bird Soldier, Winter Falcon, and Nigga Bird. Nigga Bird took me clean the fuck out. I said, please leave us alone.
See, Cory, I must have seen it on Twitter because I was like, is that the Winter Falcon? And they were like,
because people did, because that's the thing. I don't know. I was talking to my friend Karima. She said, I heard Winter Falcon. I'm like, I never heard. I heard Bird Soldier and Nigga Bird. She was like, Nigga Bird.
Now that see, talking about speaking of lexicon, but okay. Back to topics at hand.
Speaking of birds, so Usher was accused of paying people with fake money
Ush Bucks
for his Ush Bucks. Now, I think I didn't know until you started reading it. Now, it seemed I didn't look at where the location of the strip club was. So when you read the story and said it was in Vegas, I went, his residency is in Vegas. That actually does make sense.
Right.
So a woman who works at this strip club, she put it out like she act like this was a rhetorical question. Bitch, no, it wasn't. Why are you doing this? You know what she was doing. So she put it out a picture of the Ush Bucks and said, ladies, what would you do if you danced all night for Usher and he threw you this? And the money does not have a trading value whatsoever. Laughing my ass off. Don't y'all think he should be blasted on social media for this shit? Now, it got picked up, of course, Shade Room, Jasmine Brand, all fucking over. The damn Usher ain't say shit, but I'm actually not surprised because Usher don't come down from Mount. Let me tell you something. Aries on Mount Olympus, he ain't coming down nowhere to argue with you niggas. Okay? Sure. I got a whole, let me tell you, I will send Hermes to talk to y'all asses, but if you think Aries is coming down here, you gonna have to like get something else together. The fuck I will. So the actual nightclub, strip club came out and said, that is not true. He did pay people with real money. He was very hospitable. And then homegirl who did this shit for clout was calling everybody else stupid. Girl, I was just asking a question. Y'all crazy for actually
running with it. She said y'all ran
Wait a minute. I'm like, ma'am, I'm looking at your question.
Read that last line again. She said, should he be blasted on social media for this? Doing this.
Girl, I said,
didn't she show a picture of the Ush Buck?
Right? Yes, and it was like, I'm like, Usher's not real? On a.
Yeah, he left them there to promote.
He left them there to promote. It's like they left him behind to promote his residency. The strip club, and that's the thing. Until you said it, Taria, I didn't realize the strip club was in Vegas because Usher's from Atlanta. Some things it's an Atlanta place that don't make no sense. His residency is in Vegas. I was like, oh, that does make sense because you're at a strip club in Vegas. He's going to have a Vegas residency. I am waiting for the day when Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter announces her residency because literally Vegas is going to blow the fuck up. They're like, oh bitch, we all getting on Spirit. Fuck this. We don't care. We're going. It's like,
don't you do that to Spirit. I will not have Spirit slander on a Sunday.
I'm not slandering them because all of a sudden you're not gonna see no niggas fighting on no Spirit because they all trying to get to Beyonce. Bitch, I fucking hate you right now, but I'm trying to go see Queen Bee. So I
would go see.
We will handle this after we get out the gate. Once we deplane and pick up our luggage, we gonna fight outside, but not to mess up my flight so I can not miss Queen Bee because that's what's going to happen. So homegirl was like, oh my God, and I can't believe
That people
because
ran with it.
literally it went for like hours. He didn't say anything. He turned his comments off for a little while because they were like, "Damn, Usher, you cheap as shit," and I was just like, "Oh no!" And then all of a sudden it came out like, "Okay, so y'all, he did pay us," and then homegirl was like, "Well, y'all the real dummies."
Yeah, she said,
"We're the real dummies, girl. You did this for clout.
Right.
Yes.
You did this to build your brand because you shake your ass." In Vegas, I don't blame you because it's like if I was shaking ass, I'd be doing shit for clout too. Probably. No, I'm kidding. I would not slander Usher because
Usher pays.
He's
Usher
Usher.
the club,
and also he likes a strip club. He is from Chattanooga, but he lives in Atlanta.
If I could rewind.
So I'm just saying he knows a good chicken wing probably and a strip club. I'm just saying he's Usher. Okay. So I'm like, girl, you look very funny in the light. And also you can't sit here and act like you didn't, you knew what you were asking. You wanted him slandered because like, see, he didn't even pay me. I was like, so first of all, girl, don't get mad at me because you work at the club to only give you 18% of what you make.
I was going to say
to keep.
He spent money also on like bottle service and stuff like that.
Right.
Like
so it's like, don't get mad at us at the percentage. I've watched Atlanta. I know how this goes. You don't get all the money that you get.
I thought it was true. I thought he had a little kiosk in the mall somewhere or something. He was selling merch. come in and redeem your Ush Bucks.
Like this Chuck E. Cheese. Bring your Ush Bucks in. Trade it in for this little weedy whistle. Like the fuck?
Right.
Not traded in. No, I don't see. Let me not call him green.
I had to see it because I was like, I didn't like that. Like, let me find out what's really going on.
Because I was like, that don't even sound that nigga stay in a damn strip club. That nigga always in a goddamn strip club. What you mean?
And what celebrity would knowingly do that?
Do that. Him out by now.
Well, he looked like Brett Favre. What he look like? Brett Favre using fake money.
Didn't he do that at the strip club?
I'm so rude.
Didn't Brett Favre do that at the strip club or somewhere? He used fake money.
Oh, he like did some kind of defrauded some people. Yeah, I think he was like
or something
filing for unemployment or something. It was like,
I'm sorry, what?
So you're Brett Favre. Why are you, nigga?
Because hero.
Well,
filing. What could your possible? Okay,
child. Let me tell you something. Yeah, because it's also so it's fuck Brett Favre. The only Packers QB I recognize is Aaron Rodgers. I only recognize Aaron, okay? Brett Favre can choke.
Not Aaron.
Aaron. I have never watched Key and Peele, but I've seen that clip and I'm like, I am screaming at it. I was like, see, yeah, do what y'all do to black names. Yeah. It's like Aaron. They'd be like, why would you overpronounce my name? I'm like, well, what you doing? I'm like, oh, fuck this. So last story in low key. Again, these crooked ass cops. More than 400 convictions involving suspected racist cop in Virginia could be overturned.
Yes.
400.
You know what it reminds me of? That Tyler Perry movie with Keisha Knight Pulliam. Mm-hmm. Are we not allowed to talk about him? Or?
Oh no, you can talk about. See, okay. I'm of two minds when it comes to Tyler. Okay, I get your entertainment. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of like literally if a woman steps off the curb wrong, all of a sudden she ends up with AIDS, and I'm like, why is this a thing? Right? I'm like, are you cheating on your husband? You get AIDS. So I feel like we could have just maybe did chlamydia or gonorrhea to teach her a lesson. Nope, AIDS. The fuck?
AIDS. Yep. A little like HPV.
Not even herpes. It's like, what the hell? Could we pick something other than AIDS? Could we not do herpes? And why she got a limp? What is going on? Yes. It's like, what? And then this low-key thing about download dudes. I'm like, oh, if he download, he probably got AIDS. Or he could not.
Right.
And see, this is not about Tyler Perry today. Exactly. Right. This is why you
need
an editor.
It reminded me of that movie because now somebody's got to go through who are they trusting to go? Yeah. So who are they trusting to go through these 400 convictions and how many more are like that?
The fact that y'all saying 400.
Yes. And Cory said earlier, we have like racist people everywhere.
This dude is only 25.
25. So
you have
Jonathan Freitag, 25.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Is accused of making up reasons to pull people over and planting drugs in their vehicles in Fairfax County. Freitag has not been criminally charged, though he is being investigated, according to the Post. The allegations were revealed Friday as attorneys work to free an ex-firefighter sentenced to 3 years in prison based on a Freitag traffic stop. Elon Wilson, a former Washington, D.C. firefighter, is the only person still locked up based on Freitag's suspected misconduct, the Associated Press reported. Wilson's defense attorneys and county prosecutors both argued for his release Friday. Freitag stopped Wilson, a 23-year-old black man, on April 3rd, 2018, and said he swerved over the yellow line, according to the Post. Freitag then searched Wilson's car and allegedly found drugs and a gun. See, that's probably why he's still in jail, because of the gun, because it's in Virginia. Well, he's saying DC.
Just imagine.
The Commonwealth is wild, because I think, gun.
If you get a ticket there, you got to go back. I used to work with a guy, worked in Maryland. I used to work at a security company.
Mm-hmm.
He got a ticket through Virginia, and he was like, I have to take off. I got to go back.
You have to go back.
Ain't just no paying. He had to go to court.
Yeah.
I went back.
Virginia don't play, huh?
They don't. Virginia don't play. It's kind of like, don't speed in Virginia, because my God, you might end up in jail.
Right.
So, facing a maximum of 10 years in prison, Wilson took a plea deal in 2019 in which he maintained his innocence, but admittedly he probably be convicted given the evidence, local radio station WTOP reported. The deal sent Wilson to prison for 3 years, and he lost his job. A passenger under 18 claimed the drugs and gun, the Post reported. That person's case was later dropped. Surveillance video of the arrest showed Wilson did nothing illegal. Attorneys on both sides told the Post. After multiple unrelated complaints, internal investigators at the Fairfax County Police Department began reviewing Freitag's traffic stops. During that investigation, Freitag admitted that the stops were a quote-unquote pretext for searching cars for guns and drugs, according to the Post. Prosecuting attorney Steve Descano said Freitag's stops showed quote-unquote potentially racially biased motive and racially biased impact. They looked at 1,400 stops. When you're looking at the stops, a very clear pattern emerged. Read a court filing from Descano, the Fairfax County Commonwealth's attorney. The officer involved has a long history of improper and unjust stops with a racially disparate impact. Descano said Freitag admitted to a third party that he was targeting Black people on the stops, the Post reported. Freitag has denied the allegation of racism. Prosecutors say Freitag was involved in 932 cases during his 3 years as a Fairfax cop, according to the Post. Most were low-level cases, but 7 were felonies. In addition to the estimated 400 convictions, 21 pending cases were tossed. Freitag resigned from the Fairfax County Police Department in May 2020. He was hired in August 2020 by the Brevard County Sheriff's Office in Florida, but canned 2 weeks ago, according to the Post. The 2 law enforcement agencies have sparred over who was to blame for his hiring in Florida, given his record in the DC suburbs. He got to go to Florida.
I want him to go to jail.
He needs to be under the jail. And that's the other thing. When you have especially Black people who cannot make the bail, but also they get the lawyers that tell them just cop the plea, and you'll get a lower sentence, even if you fucking didn't do anything.
Even if you didn't. I continuously think about if it was my son driving through Virginia, my husband driving through Virginia, and now all of a sudden they're in jail. And it's your word against the cops when you know you don't do drugs, don't sell drugs, they have no drugs. And they just, and that's what the lawyer is advising you. He needs to be under the jail. First, he needs to get cavity searched by a couple prisoners, and then he needs to be under the jail.
No,
because stuff like that,
See, we don't trust the legal system, and it's obvious that lawyers don't trust the legal system either.
Right. That's a good point.
How about that part? It's like we don't. It's like,
because they want you. They're so quick to tell you to cop a plea.
Right? They're like, no, just take the plea and just get rid of it. I'm like, but I didn't do anything. Why are you telling me to cop a plea? And
you're talking. It's 2018. Police body cams and even people videoing their own stops. For somebody to still feel like they can plant stuff in
they still can
car.
Yeah. The thing about it,
that goes back to the same conversation we had earlier.
Yeah.
The same conversation we had earlier about you saying that, what leads you to believe that all cops are not racist? Like there's not some mixed in.
Right.
Like, this
why
dude
would you
clearly
think
had
they're
an
not
agenda when he became a cop.
Right. And he's only 25.
He had a clear agenda.
It's
and
like,
where did that come from? Right.
For that many arrests, he had an agenda.
Right.
Very.
Right. To be
it's
25.
Like, you actually going after Black people. I'm like, I'm going to put them all in jail. I'm like, because most drug charges have more time than actual violent crime. Like you could kill somebody with your car and maybe get 3 or 4 years.
Right.
You get 4 ounces of weed, you going to jail for 30 years.
Right.
And so I know for everybody, Obama's a touchy subject, and to a certain extent I get why, but don't blame the person, blame the office. When it comes to, would you look at what presidents and politicians can do? Obama's not perfect, but I literally want y'all to tell me the perfect candidate. You will never find one. Everybody got their own shit.
Right.
And the office of presidency is really just child.
It's almost like
we got to do the history on that because God, it's just awful. But let me just tell you, Obama was very skilled on how he sold those body cams to the cops and police unions. They didn't say it like, oh, because we want to keep y'all honest. He was like, no, because, you know, if you're doing the right thing, this will exonerate you so that when somebody, so it's for your protection. That's how he got it passed for a lot of people. They're like, oh, you're speaking to us. And then he would tell all the people, like civilians, see, we're trying to keep them honest. So if something happens that's funky, we can see it. It's like, so yeah, he knew how to play this, and that's what I enjoy. But he also was one of the people that was very vocal about the fact that drug charges, you should not get 20, 30, 40 years in jail for drugs, but violent crimes, maybe at the most 20, at the absolute most. Because homegirl in Texas who killed Botham Jean, she maximum was 10 years. She got parole. She gets parole in half of that time. You kill somebody in maybe 5 years. She hasn't. She's up for parole in 5 years. They didn't even like say no parole. They said she can offer for 5. You actually killed somebody.
Wow.
Homegirl in Florida was protecting herself from her abusive ex-husband, shot at him, not shot him, at him. She got 20 years. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in Florida? And they wouldn't even let her use the stand your ground defense. The same defense they let that bitch who killed Trayvon Martin use. They let him use stand the ground. Her was like, no, that's different. Is it though?
And this is why I told somebody today, that we were having this conversation, and I said, I get that people don't understand why people get protesters and looters. They kind of make them the same person, but also sometimes maybe they are. And I told her, I understand why. She was like, I just don't feel like a destruction of property will solve anything. I said, in the case of Freddie Gray, even though the officers that got off and the officer that probably struck the fatal blow never even got tried, as a white man, took a plea deal, nothing would have been done, even though they did it for show, if there hadn't been some sort of smoke in the city. So for me, when you hear all these things, you hear George Zimmerman gets off, stand your ground. A woman was being abused, shot in the air, she goes to jail. You have a 25-year-old whose whole mission was to stop Black people and lock them up. You mean to tell me, as a mom and as a wife to Black men, I can't say that I wouldn't be the one holding a match if something happened to one of mine unfairly. Because what else are you supposed to do? I'm getting angry listening to all of it now. So can you imagine the rage when it's your loved one?
Right. You know, and it's
we got so many.
Go ahead, Cory.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's like you said. There's so many different instances of where we're it's proven that justice is not for us. You know what I mean? We're at the point where we, what else can we do? But we try to peaceful protest, and but that doesn't really make the news until we start to riot. And the change don't really happen until we start to riot. Until we make y'all uncomfortable, change doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Because
unfortunately, most times I'm done. Unfortunately, most times it leads to riots. It doesn't start off as riots. It's the bad apples or whatever. Something, it happens late at night or whatever after the peaceful protesting and stuff like that. But still, none of that stuff makes the news. It's the riots and all that kind of stuff, and then the conversation starts.
Yeah, because it's like even for last summer, it was kind of like people kept popping up videos of either like this is a Grand Theft Auto video game, a pallet of bricks just showed up. They're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yes.
Or you see white people doing it and they're not there to be protest. They're just like, they're just trying to be destructive. Right. And they're like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Why are y'all doing? They're going to blame us. They're not going to blame you.
Can I tell you who I appreciate, whether people agree with it or not? Tanya Sam from the Real Housewives of Atlanta has businesses in Atlanta. And when her business was burned down, she said, if that's what it takes for the cause, that's what it takes. And I have insurance.
Yeah, there was another business owner. I think he was like the same. Like, aren't you upset? He was like, I guess, but I have insurance.
And y'all don't hear us.
In fact, that won't, because the guy who owns, I think he was either CEO or COO came out and said, like, aren't you upset they're tearing up your business? We have insurance. That's all he said. It was like, so people like to use the whole Martin Luther King was nonviolent, and this is like what he would not see. Martin Luther King also actually said a riot is the language of the unheard. After a while, you get very angry. We are tired of talking to you. We've whispered, we have shouted, and now we're gonna burn this shit to the ground. Y'all burning down y'all neighborhoods that we don't own. And neighborhoods that you redlined us into and drew a line around us, so we have to stay here.
And stop quoting Martin Luther King when fundamentally you don't believe what he believes, period.
And also pull up those stats from the bus boycott to Colin Kaepernick's protest. They're the same damn percentages. Y'all can miss me with this whole, if Martin Luther King, like y'all love quoting Martin Luther King as if that nigga didn't get killed. Y'all love quoting Muhammad Ali around his birthday as if people were like, fuck that nigger for not going to war, and y'all took his damn titles from him. He was a pariah. Now all of a sudden y'all want to act like everybody loved him. No, the fuck y'all didn't. That's what y'all going to do in 20 years to Colin Kaepernick. All of a sudden everybody's going to be like, oh my God, we loved him and he was so well loved. The fuck he was. Y'all full of shit. Yeah, it's like we've seen it because my father was like, he's like, it's like it's what they did to Muhammad Ali. It's like, yeah, they act like everybody loved. No, they didn't. Everybody loved Martin Luther King. No, the fuck y'all. He was on the FBI. You don't love somebody who's on the FBI's most wanted list.
Right.
They were watching his ass.
And so I think these are the reasons why I used to not watch the news. But I have a husband who's very.
He want to know
that you should be knowing what's going on. So I watch it more, but it makes you angry. Like inside, I'm just like, oh.
Exactly. So I don't know if
I watch both too. I watch the evil and the good news.
Because
I watch CNN and
you got to balance that. You got to watch the both.
The good and evil.
If you want the middle, watch MSNBC.
I watch
the far right, and in the middle is MSNBC.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if anybody has never seen Judas and the Black Messiah, there's a point in this movie, and y'all need to give Martin Sheen his things because my God, that man is just a great actor. But it was two people, they were two white people in the FBI, and they were talking about, oh, well, the person's in jail, and it's like, but that's not really going to stop the cause. They're essentially talking about not jailing people like a Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton needs to die. They're like, that's not the end game here.
Right.
He needs to go. And it's like, yeah, because then it's like, yeah, they didn't want, excuse me, how many times was Martin Luther King Jr. in jail? Dr. Martin Luther King. He wrote a whole fucking 4-page letter from jail. But jail locking him up is not the end game, especially with someone who has a voice like a Fred Hampton, a Martin Luther King, a Medgar Evers, a Malcolm X. No, they want y'all niggas to shut the fuck up. It's like, you still have power from jail. They're like, no, you still alive. You still got power. You still got influence. But if your black ass is dead, we can stomp this out. They don't want political leaders to be in jail. They're like, jail is not the end game that we're looking for. So I implore everybody to watch Judas and the Black Messiah. It's a really good movie. I was of two minds of like, do I really want to watch it? And I'm like, one, the score is fantastic. I've told everybody the score is fantastic. And there's people who are like, I don't want to watch it because I don't want it to look like black people turning each other. I'm like, but that's actually truth. And also, please don't think that every black person was for the bus boycott and every black person didn't want to leave the plantation when slavery was free. They're like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? You're not giving me any, I don't have no job. I don't have no land. Where am I supposed to go?
Even now, when some get released from jail, they
want to go back in. They like the structure. It's 3 hots in a cot. They're like, I know exactly what my day is looking like. I come out in jail, y'all won't hire me. You know, people look at me super weird, and it's like they're like, no, this is too much because y'all don't want to hire me for shit. Yep. So I might as well just go back in.
I would watch it, but the place I'm in right now, I would want to go riot.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend watching it now. I mean, I'm being quite frank, because one, Daniel Kaluuya bodied Fred Hampton. I was like, damn, he's good at this.
He did it good.
He was really good. That is a really,
I forgot that Joker had an accent.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. They pissed me off, man. I watched a whole movie. You being the blackest brother I've ever seen, and then you're doing it.
You're like, you're from Europea? What the hell is going? How did I just get bamboozled on this
you almost had me, bro. You ain't go through the struggle. You almost had me.
I know you got your own little goddamn struggle, but goddamn it. See how we are. See how we are. We are fools. Let's slide into mid-key and talk about Mr. Jonathan Pentland. So again, another place where people think racism don't live is the military. Y'all really think that the military, like y'all put on a uniform and, you know, your implicit bias kind of like evaporates for some odd reason. And it doesn't. So Jonathan Pentland, a video started and it looked like we looked in the middle of what the fuck was going on. And this is in South Carolina. He works at Fort Jackson, but you see a video come up on the timeline, if you're somebody who goes onto social medias, where you saw a very muscular, bald white man harassing a much younger black man saying, you don't belong here. What are you doing in this neighborhood? He's like, I live around here. Where do you live? Excuse me, aggressive person. I'm not telling you where the fuck I live. Are you kidding me? You come to my fucking house. So he was harassing, he was pushing him. Apparently the person who was videotaping it said she thought everything was good. That's why she stopped. Yeah, when the camera went down, apparently they knocked the young man's phone out the hand and they cracked it. So Jonathan Pentland was arrested on Wednesday morning. Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott said in a news conference he has been released from jail on a personal recognizance bond, according to jail records. It's a very disturbing video. It's one that we are not going to tolerate and condone in Richland County. The video, which authorities say shows Pentland pushing, threatening, yelling at a young black man, did not capture the events leading up to the confrontation or the full exchange between Pentland and the black man. Excuse me. A concerned citizen called to report the incident, which took place on Monday in the Summit neighborhood of Columbia, South Carolina. Southern charm, I tell you.
Yes.
Pentland is seen in the video pushing a young man shortly after Pentland tells him, you are aggressing on the neighborhood. You either walk away or I'm going to carry your ass out of here. I did not do anything, the young man responds. I'm about to do something to you. You better start walking. You're in the wrong neighborhood, motherfucker. Get out. A female bystander can be heard addressing the young black man and says he was in a dispute with one of their neighbors. All I heard was you fighting and her defending herself, the woman says. When asked about the events leading up to the altercation during Wednesday's news conference, Lott would not go into specifics, but he said there were some other things that occurred that really doesn't justify the actions of the suspect. CNN has been able to reach Pentland or determine if he was obtained legal representation at this time. CNN has been able to reach the young man in the video for comment. After the video stops, Pentland pushed the victim again and knocked the victim's phone from his hand, according to the incident report. Pentland said he did it out of concern for his and his wife's safety. The sheriff's department said the 2 other incidents involving the young black man were reported to the deputies that responded to the confrontation between him and Pentland. Those cases are being investigated independently. According to the incident reports, one event happened on April 8th and involved the young man allegedly touching a woman without consent. The second incident took place on April 10th and involved the young man allegedly picking up a baby without permission. The victim has an underlying medical condition that may explain the behavior exhibited in the alleged incidents. RCSD is actively working to get him the help that he needs in an attempt to divert him from the criminal justice system.
I knew it. It's a mental health thing.
because you can tell by you looking at him. Fort Jackson, the U.S. Army's main production center for basic combat training, is responsible for training about 50% of all soldiers and more than 60% of women who enter the Army each year, according to its website. It released a statement confirming Pentland is currently stationed there and said he is being investigated by the Justice Department. The leaders of Fort Jackson in no way condone the behavior depicted in the video posted recently. I remain deeply concerned for the members of our Army family, the young man and his family, and the tensions that activities like this amplify over time. Please be patient as facts are determined. So we're not going to be fucking patient.
Right.
So one, we are really getting sick of white people coming up to us saying we don't belong somewhere. I'm like,
and
why
they get
do
ready
you
to have
think
somebody's dad and mom.
I wish that would happen to me one day.
If that was my son, me and I would have been out there.
Oh, I would have been ready to fight. I'm like, he could come out there.
And how dare you put your hands on my son? Like it just enrages me that they think that we're property that they can just touch and move.
It's like, you don't belong here. I'm like, why are you under this impression that I don't belong here?
Your mammy and your pappy didn't when they stole the country. They didn't belong here, and neither do you.
Get it, Taria. Drag them. Drag them.
As a matter of fact, our ancestors were some of the people that you stole the land from. See, not on a Sunday.
So also, so around last Thursday, apparently a group of protesters showed up at this man's house.
That was,
and they were screaming, bring your ass right on out here. You got something to say? So apparently homeboy has moved.
Bye.
They have moved because the protesters got violent outside their residence. Now, let me get this right. You had no problem bullying this young man who literally, he wasn't making a lot of eye contact with him. His voice was low. And I'm like, something's going on there. So you have no problem. And it's just disgusting to watch. But then as soon as people are like, what you did is pretty fucked up, because they had protesters, a lot of them went live. It was on the news. And it wasn't just black people out there either. It's like, I have a feeling homeboy's an asshole. And they're like, oh, I know who the fuck he is. When the protest happening, because I got shit to say. I will stand in solidarity with you. But the fact that you had no problem.
Invited all of it.
I invited all of it. I'm like, you were like, tell me where you live. Oh, no, the fuck, I'm not telling you nothing.
Tell you where I live.
Also, not even because you're being physically aggressive. It's more of, I don't owe you that. For some odd reason, when you see these videos of white people questioning any non-white person, they're under this impression that they have some sort of reason, or they have some unwritten rule of permission. I'm like, you should just tell me. Why do I need to tell you where I live? Well, because I'm asking. I'm just asking a question. It's none of your fucking business. Oh, why are you being so aggressive? Because it's none of your. I'm sorry. Tell me where you live. Yeah, exactly. You don't feel like you need to tell me that shit. Yeah. So I don't feel
your intentions once I tell you.
Exactly. It's like, I've never seen you in this building before. I've never seen you in this neighborhood before. I don't give a shit where you've seen me or didn't see me. I'm sorry. I live here. Fuck you forever. Okay.
Right.
Go to hell.
I don't care if I moved here yesterday. Moved in with somebody.
Right. Or like, I've lived here for so long and I've never seen you.
I can walk.
I can't walk. It's like, what the? Yeah, fuck y'all. So yeah, I don't feel a bit sorry about Jonathan Pentland. And the fact that we still don't know this young man's name. I don't need to know his name. I don't want to know his name, because you know what's going to happen. Those racists are going to come after his ass. I don't want y'all coming after them. I'm tired of black people getting doxxed when they stand up for themselves. I'm sick of that. It's like, no, I don't need to know his name.
And I don't need to know what he did in 10th grade, what he did in 9th grade, what he did
Well, he's been in these two other incidents. Excuse me, you said April 8th and April 10th.
Had nothing to do with this instance.
That's nothing to do with it. And why is your wife sick and your husband?
And that's not why he's confronting the young man anyway. Ain't got nothing to do with these other two incidences.
Exactly.
And if we're going to
see a black man walking through his neighborhood.
What you doing here? What you mean?
And if we're going to tie in incidences, Derek Chauvin, the policeman that's on trial for murdering George Floyd because he allegedly used a counterfeit bill, he himself wrote a bad check how many years ago and just finally paid it. So if we're going to do incidences.
That don't matter to them. It don't matter to racists. They'll be like, no, the goalposts will always be moved when they do shit.
Yeah. Yep.
It will always be moved. It's like, So
I feel like I didn't just watch Higher Learning. I'm ready to just slap everybody. Okay.
It's a shame that we got a movie to predict everything that we go through. But if you haven't seen them, Yeah, if you haven't seen them, it's a good episode on Prime Video. You should watch that. I mean, it's gonna get you mad, but you know.
Yeah, that's why I'm not
it's the
watching.
Same as what we talking about.
I have several. There's several different
Stephanie's
thoughts floating
saying
around.
that now. One day next week, she gonna watch it, and we're gonna get 37 voice notes. And I'm gonna learn.
The minute I watch it, I'm blowing. You better yet. No, I'm sending them notes. See, Breezy. Let me tell your ass something. The fuck you got me watching it? I'm gonna sound like Medea in the voice note. Let me tell your ass something. Don't make me call Taria. You don't tell me watch that bullshit. What the fuck?
You want to go? You're gonna want to do another podcast on it, and you're gonna invite me on for it, and I'm here for it.
Boom.
Look, he's like, see, that's how I line up my. That's how I line up my guest spots. He rubbing his hands like Stevie J. Like, that's how I do it.
Right. Well, y'all capitalize on it. Go ahead. That's all right.
So last story in mid key, because then we're gonna hit high key. So because Taria's here, we got to talk about the Bravo.
Don't let C Breezy fool you. He knows about the Bravo too. Go ahead, Stephanie.
It's all up your lane. This in your alley. Go ahead.
It's your world. Wait, it's your world, squirrel.
Just trying to get a nut. I got one. He's on the mic.
Oh Lord.
He said, "Oh no, that's not going in the OnlyFans."
I know he knew it was coming.
So if everybody has not read this
let me stretch,
Vulture article,
Stephanie might be going back and forth.
So Anna Peel wrote a article talking about the soul of Bravo. She is white.
Okay.
I got you, girl. Okay. She's white. So she decided to write an article. There were a few clips. Earlier in the week, we saw the clips that Andy Cohen said about Kelly Dodd and why the fuck she's still here. And that got me all up in my feelings, because I'm like, it is very much on brand for a white man to say that shit, because they can talk, because white people who are in these positions of power can talk a good game about we want solidarity and liberalism, and we want everybody to be, fair, and we want equality and all this shit. We can put up our little black boxes, our little yellow boxes. Don't y'all do that fucking shit. Do not put up them yellow goddamn boxes. What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Right.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You asses. I'm glad that did not take off.
Me too.
I'm very glad it didn't take off, because I would have slapped a lot of people. Y'all would have got Stasi backhanded if y'all put them yellow boxes in your goddamn Mexican, you sons of bitches. Anyway, so that part was like, oh my God. Then there's the other little part, because literally it seemed like Bravo all over was covered.
Can I just have to interject on that Andy thing.
Oh no.
Andy Cohen is a white man.
Oh no.
Who benefits from a system designed to oppress Black people. But Andy will sit and say, people say he's not racist. I'm not saying he's racist. However, you benefit from a system designed to oppress us, and you're walking back everything you said about people who believe in that system. So Andy Cohen, you're participating in racism. You are walking back what you said about Kelly Dodd. Let's talk about how Kelly Dodd has talked very derogatory about Black Lives Matter. She did a video that I saw before it seemed like it was scrubbed from the internet. I haven't been able to see it, with her daughter saying she wanted to shoot the protesters. Then she sits her happy behind on the Real Housewives of Orange County couch and says she's Black.
At the whole ring, I'm Black, bitch. I will kill you. I will beat whatever that proverbial black off your ass. No, the fuck you not.
She had so much to say about the Black Lives Matter movement. And now Andy Cohen is saying the area that she lives in, they all think like that. Sir, that's not an excuse. Wow. You are participating in racism when you sit up there and have Black women in Atlanta and Black women in Potomac and you keying with them. You are participating in racism. I understand that you're a part of the LGBTQ community, but at the end of the day, you're still a white man. And unless it pertains to the LGBTQ plus community, you walk everything back. So understand that you participate in racism as well when you are quiet or don't speak up against a system, again, that you benefit from, that is designed to be against us, period, point blank. Don't at me, but you're more than welcome to come in my DMs and we can have this discussion all day long. But if you get disrespectful, then it's going to be on and popping. Because I'm sick. I'm so sick of these white men in position of power walking back everything. Bravo had a special, Race in America, a movement, not a moment. And then you're walking back what you said about somebody with racist actions. You say that you wish Stassi and Kristen hadn't got fired because it would have been perfect for them to learn a lesson. From who? The other white people on their cast that have never gone through what Black people go through? Sir, you're just pandering because you want to keep your job. And I'm sick of it. I'm done.
Because that's the thing.
No, it's good. I'm done speaking. Like, Cory, that's what they say in Clubhouse. He's supposed to say, this is Taria and I'm done.
I just tell you that I yeah. So I was like, I can't even get it. Like, I can't even put it into words. I'm like, it is hilariously predictable that that's what he was going to do, because at the goddamn green ass end of the day, money talks. And everybody, we can say all this about Bravo fandom, but if you don't think their target demo is 35 to 40 to maybe 52-year-old white women, and so they are very conservative. The fandom is very conservative. You find that out when shit gets uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's like, girl, shut the fuck up. So this is a very long article. The part that Andy Cohen said about Kelly Dodge sent the shockwaves of like, what the fuck is going on here?
If you say, I got Black friends, and you can't empathize with what the plight that they're going through right now, you don't have Black friends. You know Black people. There's a difference between the two.
That is true.
See, that's what we're starting to see when they speak out. The Brian Urlachers and all these others talking about, I got Black friends. No, you know Black people, because you lack empathy. You see what they're going through. You see what's happening, and you pretend because it's political.